All right, what's up, everyone? Draft-a-Palooza is back, and we have big fantasy football news to cover just breaking minutes ago. So we're going to get into a little bit of that, but Draft-a-Palooza is back. We're drafting best ball teams all throughout the summer, 2 drafts per day. Multiple times, it's a palooza. We're having fun. We're drafting teams. It's July, right? And the big news is Jonnu Smith just randomly traded from Miami to the Steelers just before we went live here, guys. Rapid reaction. Who benefits? Who's harmed? Because, listen, normally a tight end trade, who gives a shit, right? Who cares? It's fucking tight end. But Jonnu Smith set the record last year for tight end receptions on the Dolphins, 88 receptions. He was a very fantasy relevant player up until about 5 minutes ago. Now, what happens to his fantasy value on the Steelers? What happens to Freiermuth's fantasy value on the Steelers? And who gets the 88 targets on the Dolphins? We're going to cover all that. I have some thoughts on the whole thing. So the first thought, I was like, why the fuck is Miami trading this guy away? Do they not want him? This and that. And I actually just think they wanted Fitzpatrick. You know, they got Fitzpatrick back. And so I think that's what they wanted to do. I was drafting Jonnu Smith as like a very confident, like, give me the targets, give me the reception, a very confident tight end. So now that's out the window. All of the drafts that we've done so far where Jonnu Smith is in there, I mean, he's downgraded. He's going to move massively down in ADP from where he is to a whole nother level down, right? I'm thinking TE 15, 14, 16, somewhere in that range is now where we're going to reprice Jonnu Smith. Forget him, ADP, don't touch him. He's got to adjust lower, right? So we got a Steelers team that now has 2 tight ends, Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth. Yeah, they have Arthur Smith there, and Arthur Smith does want to run double tight end sets. That's what he does. It's run the football and run the double tight end. So let's talk about what Arthur Smith does with the Steelers. What he's going to do. He's a run first coach. He wants to have 2 tight ends on the field, 12 personnel, and kind of keep one guy in maybe as a blocker, have the other one go out on a pattern. They did it in Atlanta with Jonnu Smith and Pitts, and obviously Jonnu Smith was the better guy there. So, take that for what it's worth. Pitts has some, quote, talent issues. We'll see. Which guy between Smith and Freiermuth is going to be the blocker, and which one's going to be I assume Smith will kind of take that role again. With that being said, the Steelers' offense is going to be fairly low volume overall, pass volume. It's going to be a lot of running plays, and it just hurts Jonnu Smith, who I think he's still an acceptable tight end this year, but now he's splitting it with another guy who is also kind of exciting. Kill value for Freiermuth and Smith. They are toast. Yeah, I'll take the Pat when he's free. I don't want to take him now when the price goes down. So our Freiermuth shares, we overpaid for them. Any Freiermuth shares we have, we overpaid. He's going to go down. He's going to be cheaper. Who's the better blocker? I think Freiermuth is the better blocker. Smith is more known as a pass catching tight end. So I think it'll be Freiermuth. I think Smith is in there to be the pass catcher on 12 personnel sets. So they're going to have 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end. They're not going to run 3 wide on that team very often. And that's probably the offense you're going to see a lot of. They're going to do a run heavy approach. You're going to see a lot of Warren and Caleb on that team doing their thing. Sam Brown says Achane, and I agree, but I think the biggest beneficiary on the Dolphins is probably Jalen Waddle. So right now, I checked the depth chart for the Dolphins, and they do not have a replacement tight end on that team. Top of the depth chart is Julian Hill. Excuse me. Julian Hill, who is not a pass catcher. He's been on the team for a while, right? His name doesn't even pop up. Here he is. So this is the top of the depth chart for Miami. Not a fast 4.7 40. He's been in the league for 3, undrafted. I mean, this is not real competition. 16 games, 19 targets last year, 12 receptions. You like Conyers, all right? Who, I think they will go out and get another guy. Yeah, Jalen Conyers. I mean, who's this guy? So let's see. He's never caught a pass. I mean, I just don't think any of these guys are going to be real competition. I don't see anything about this guy. I guess is he a rookie? Undrafted? I mean, come on. Undrafted rookie. This is not something, Ivan, that I want to mess with, right? These are undrafted rookies. Red zone target. Listen, here's what I think. I don't think it's going to be Jalen Conyers. I don't think it's going to be some undrafted rookie. My guess is Dolphins will pick up a different guy that they don't have right now. They will trade for somebody before the start of the season. Maybe the Myers kid from the Raiders, who is kind of he was a high draft pick and now is irrelevant because of Brock Bowers. So like maybe something like that. Westbrook Akine season, maybe, but maybe it's Jalen Waddle season, right? Who's gonna see those extra targets? You know, Tyreek Hill is running the deep outs. Those aren't the receptions that Jonnu Smith was getting. He was getting the shorts, the dump offs. Could it be more Achane? Yes, right? So he should benefit. They could just throw it more to Achane. They could line up Achane almost as a tight end or as a slot receiver. You don't know. Waddle, route runner, shorter routes. I think he benefits a little bit as well. So Achane and Waddle right now, those would be my two primaries. And maybe whatever tight end Miami might pick up from now till opening day. There's plenty of tight ends available. It's not an expensive piece to get. Dolphins receivers get hurt a lot. I mean, listen, Tyreek Hill, we don't know what to expect from Tyreek Hill this year. He looked bad last year. You're talking Westbrook Akine. Yeah, maybe it's Westbrook Akine. You know, he's been around, he's been floating around, so we can get him in our last pick here in Best Ball as well, and maybe that's the guy. Yeah, he got a bunch of touchdowns last year with a really shitty quarterback, so you never know. But that's the big news coming into this day, this Draft-a-Palooza. So I wanted to we had to mention it. That's really big because that is the most relevant sort of fantasy news we've had in a while in terms of a player. Again, Jonnu Smith ranked 5-6 TE5, TE6, right up there. Exciting player coming off of an 80-plus reception season. That is crazy for a tight end. And now, worthless. Almost worthless. Like, not a TE1 at all. TE2 territory. Still fine, but, man, if you had Jonnu Smith shares in your Dynasty League, in your Best Ball so far, I mean, I don't know, I'm scared to look. I definitely have exposure to that guy. Let's see. If I look at exposure at the TE group. All right. No Jonnu on this grouping. I don't know how many drafts these are, but actually no Jonnu in this grouping. That's fine, but I don't think I have that. That wasn't too many. Let's go back. Let's look at the golden. What the hell's that? 4 entries. The Schnauzer is the one I have the most of. Let's go exposures. Tight end. Yeah. Ooh, not much. So, all right. Looks like I dodged a bullet. Razzle is president of the worthless community. There we go. All right. So let's get into it, guys. We had some of that news. I wanted to actually get into rankings and rankings adjustments that I've been doing to the DFS Army Best Ball rankings. Again, I've been spending the day kind of going through these rankings And I think for the next few Draft-a-Paloozas, what I think I'd like to do is go through these position by position, maybe make some adjustments in real time as well during the draft itself. It's tough to do, but we're going to try. But in the meantime, let's jump back over to Underdog. Let's get our Draft-a-Palooza started. Guys, how about, let's see, we've been doing the Eliminator. We got the Corgi here. Ooh, the Corgi, single entry. Pitbull, 10 entry max. We got SFB Satellite. Don't like that. Eliminator is cool. The Big Dog, the Gray. Let's see, what do we got here? Where's my $8 contest that everybody can afford? Is it gone? Is it already gone? Did it fill? Yeah. It looks like the one that I was hoping for filled up. So, you know, let's go back to our favorite contest, the Eliminator for today. We'll start with that. We'll do another one. The Pitbull, I think, is full. Oh, it's $20 entry. A little expensive for this crowd. Last time I did the $20, most of you guys didn't join. So let's do an Eliminator, and then we'll think about what we'll do for the second one. Do a 20-second pick Eliminator. I want to figure out a way to also talk through the rankings a little bit here. We'll see if we can get that going on screen with the speed of this thing. But let's get in another Eliminator. I'm going in 3, 2, 1. We're getting in there. Again, reminder, the Eliminator eliminates half of the field every single week. Once you get past week 3, you're in the money. And now it's how much money we're going to make. So in the Eliminator, what are we trying to do? Reminder, we do not need correlation. That's not important here. We just need to get through the week. We want to go heavy on quality running backs. We want to go heavy on players that have later in the season bye weeks. We don't want too many early bye weeks if we can avoid them. And of course, you cannot have an over concentration of bye weeks on any one given week because you will definitely get eliminated that week. So that's another thing to pay a little bit of attention to. But our primary goal, our initial goal, is just getting past the first 3 weeks. Get to week 4. Get to week 4, you're in the money. You got your money back, and now we're going to try to win the big money. And remember, as we get these teams passed, we got to do a lot of teams because you're randomly matched up with opponents after week 1. You don't know who you're going to get. You can get a stud. You can get a dud. So you don't know who you're getting. Sean Hoy, a little sneaky, a little criminal behavior at work. I like it. I like it. Get in there. Let's see who's in there with us here. So I am drafting a 1.7. I'm going to put the draft board on the screen in a second. We're drafting 1.7. I'm not seeing too many of you guys in here. Drago's in there. Soups is in there. I'm assuming that's all of the chat people that might be in here. Don't know. I'm making an assumption. So with that being said, let's get the draft board going on the screen. I'm going to open this in a window here, and then I'm going to present, share screen, window, and we're going to show that window on screen here. I know that is the preferred visual for this. Oh, you're in there? Okay, nice. Majestic Otter. That's Sean. Darth Apple is Darth Pasta. Is it? Are you guys changing names, or we just didn't do this one? All right, so let's take a look at the board. What's going on? We've got, ooh, okay. Oh yeah, CM Sizzles. CM Sizzles, dangerous. Don't want to leave me McCaffrey. I love McCaffrey specifically in this contest because I don't even need him for the whole year. I just need him for like the first 6-7 weeks. I'm good. As long as he starts healthy, he's going to be one of the top scoring players. You know, McCaffrey was somebody that earlier in the offseason you can get at pick 12, 13, 14. So, you know, he's now going in round 1, rightfully and correctly. He belongs here. Now, one of the things that, yeah, there goes Achan. I was just going to say, I think Achan is one of the biggest beneficiaries of the Jonnu Smith situation. When you think about those kind of targets, the dump offs, and what Jonnu was getting, Achan's already a reception beast. And now we're talking about Achan being that first and second look without really a pass catching tight end on the roster for the Dolphins. They don't have anyone else right now. So he could really benefit from that in a big way. All right, so my second pick, I'm really choosing between Bucky and Chase Brown there, but I'm going to go with Bucky. I love them both. I love Chase Brown so much, I don't even mind taking him right there. I love him more on DraftKings where the full PPR is in effect, but I don't even mind taking him right there. Sam Brown, are you Darth Pasta, Darth Apple? Is that you? Why is everybody? Is this your work? Is this your work YouTube accounts that everybody's got different names going? All right, Darth Apple's with us. Darth Pasta out there proven to the world that you can ARB bet even from Texas. You don't need legal sports books or US-based sports books in your state in order to do arbitrage betting and print money every day. Print a couple bucks a day. Beautiful thing. All right, so there goes Ladd McConkey, Josh Allen, our first stud quarterback off the board. Chase Brown goes to Darth Pasta at the turn. Saquon Barkley, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams. I mean, that's a really good start. For this format, that's the kind of start you want. Just stud running backs all over the place. I think you want at least two of them. So just talking about like how your season-long draft might go, you really want to come out of these first 3 rounds with 2 running backs at bare minimum. I don't mind taking the wide receiver in round 1 or 2. Let's call it even 4 rounds. First 4 rounds, you definitely want 2 running backs and then 1 wide receiver and a luxury position, or 2 and 2. You can get 2 really studly wide receivers as well. There are great wide receivers floating all through the first kind of 3 or 4 rounds. There's some amazing running backs that continue to pop up even in rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8. So really interesting way to approach this. But for this contest specifically, for this one, I do like to come out of those first 2 rounds or first 3 rounds with at least 2 running backs on my team, and then definitely having 3 before like the first 6 rounds are done. We're going to be using a running back in the flex in this format. So because it's underdog, right? We're half-point PPR, touchdowns are king. So that's one of the latest that I've seen Trey McBride go. End of round 3. That is a bargain on McBride right there. So yeah, in this format, I think there is a lot of benefit to. Let's see what's going on here. Am I not seeing the whole thing? Yeah, no. We got them all. Just making sure we can see the whole draft on the screen. Do I have to widen this? Yeah, there we go. Drago, there you are. I was like, I'm missing someone. There's Drago. All right, so my squad has McCaffrey, Bucky Irving. I went with Garrett Wilson in round 3. I had a choice there, a couple other names that were kind of floating around, but I went with Garrett Wilson there. Kamara goes. Devontae Adams goes. Damn you. Damn you. Yeah, I got to go with Omarion here as well. So I get my 3 wide receiver, my 3 running back start in the first 4 rounds. I like Omarion Hampton. I might be higher on Omarion Hampton than other people are. I don't know. But first round draft pick, only competing with Najee Harris, who is on a 1-year deal. On a team that wants to run the football aggressively. Can he pass protect? I don't know. You know, how much he's going to stay on the field depends on how well he can pass protect. But, you know, considering who just went before him, you know, Chuba Hubbard gone, Kenny Walker gone, Kamara. I like Omarion, I would say, above Kamara and Walker. And I would say with Chuba, pretty much very similar for me. Yeah, really similar. So appropriate. I like Omarion Hampton above Breece Hall, who went a round and a half earlier. So this format is not for getting cute. That's why I like it. It's not a don't get cute on the eliminator. I'm just trying to pick good players that will help me get past the week. Right? I'm not worried right now about discovering. Listen, the hidden gems are great, and discovering the hidden gems are great, but I just want to get my best names in there that are going to hopefully start strong and get me through the first few weeks of the season. After that, it's anyone's game. The Goon Squad is all over. I get it. You know what? NHL's over. What are you going to do? Can't be NHL people and baseball people don't get along. What do I think of reports that McCaffrey has lost? I haven't seen that report. So I didn't hear that report. Everything I've heard of McCaffrey is he looks amazing. He looks great. He's all back and this and that. So if there's a report or there's these words are out there, you know, send it to me. Let me know and we'll judge that. But I haven't seen those reports. How to have to avoid too much tagging? Yeah, you want to avoid that. By the way, it's important to really look at these bye weeks on this contest in particular. And again, getting the late bye I think is a benefit. So give me those later in the season bye weeks. That's preferable. We're about to come up on our pick. I see a couple of names that I really like. Here, there's a name I've really been wanting to talk about. I'll bring it up here in a second, but sort of I'm not feeling like I want to see where his ADP is. I want to make sure that I'm not doing my personal projection on this guy. Yeah. So I'm going to take a player here that I'm really excited about this season, and I want to talk about why. So I took Calvin Ridley, the Riddler. I love Ridley this year. So Ridley reminds me of a little bit of, I'm trying to think of a similar scenario. Basically, Ridley's been a stud wide receiver throughout his career. He had he lost a year to like gambling issues, and then he lost a couple of years to like Will Levis as his quarterback / just being on the Titans, a team that didn't throw a lot for the last few years. So like, I feel like we forgot, and I'm not sure if maybe he forgot. Maybe he forgot that he was a stud. I know that we forgot that he was a stud because he's been on shit teams. The name is just unsexy, right? It's unsexy. But here's my thing. And look at Swift going now at the top of, where he's going. That's crazy too. I was getting Swift, ages from here. But with Ridley, he now has a rookie QB that looks to be pretty good. He's got decent coaching staff in place. Cam Ward got an arm and really very little to no target competition on his team. So those are the kind of players that I want to get in these mid rounds. Like we start to get into the zone of, now I would love him a little, I was hoping he'd go a little further back than this, but at least here in these mid rounds, I think that's the kind of guy I want to get my hands on. I just took my 4th running back. So, but back to Ridley, love Ridley there. He's the top target for his team, the number 1 guy. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. So now I just want to point out, I've got Henderson, I've got Hampton, Irving, and McCaffrey. 4 stud running backs in the first 6 rounds. Why did I get the extra one? I think I can make up for it. So I want those running backs putting up numbers for me early. I got an extra stud in the mix. And now I'm going to have to focus on wide receivers, make up for that a little bit. But I don't really have to take in this format now. I don't have to take a bunch of like these injury backup type guys Instead, in those rounds, I'll be taking my tight ends, my quarterbacks, and other players that will be benefiting my team in the short term. Yeah, the Titans guys, sure, they're late picks for us. We could take, Tyler Lockett or whoever's on that team. Fine. Iominator, whatever the rookie is, who cares? Fine, take him with your last pick. But as far as who's going to demand the football, it's got to be Calvin Ridley. Like, how does Calvin Ridley not see 120 targets this year? There's Pearsall. Oh, it sucks having all of you fuckers in my draft with me. You take all my people. I don't care. I appreciate you guys hanging out. You're seeing some movement in Roschon Johnson. I'll look into that. I mean, Roschon Johnson's being mentioned. I know that a couple of the fantasy Twitter analysts are talking about Roschon as like a sleeper. I don't know about a sleeper, but a good, I guess what they'd call it, a good, handcuff. I would agree with that. I think he is a good handcuff. So there you go. I think Roschon's sort of getting the cachet right now as the handcuff for, as a strong handcuff for. So what we got going on here. QB position. We still have tons of them. ADP's nowhere near here, right? 79. Next round, really for QBs. So running back group, I already have 2. So I'm going to open up tight end and Olave, K-Shack, Steffi Diggs. You know what? I'm going to go back to my guy, Stephon Diggs. Again, similar to the Calvin Ridley story. I think less so. But Diggs, perennial WR1, gets hurt kind of early last year. Hopefully he's fully recovered. He's on the boat, snorting pink shit with the hose. Cool stuff, right? Bills teammates or Vikings teammates said, keep this guy away from my sister. I get it. Guy's a freak, right? People like that at some point are going to have a mental breakdown, Antonio Brown style, and just fucking go off the deep end. That may have happened already with Diggs, but if it didn't happen yet, then we can get him a WR1 for his team this late in the draft. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I'm on a boat, motherfucker. Can I play a Lonely Island song on this draft, like in real time? Look up T-Pain and Lonely Island. I'm on a boat. Razzle, that's for you. T-Pain and Lonely Island. I'm on a boat. Go on YouTube, pull it up. Not now though. Keep watching. All right, here we go. We're back on the clock. You got to go Sam Laporta here and get a studly tight end a little bit well into this. Yeah. Oh, everybody knows Lonely Island. Well, I thought I'm the only person who knew what Lonely Island even is. And yet here we go. I love it. I just had sex. Akon. Love that shit. Don't put your dick in a box. That is true. And it's okay if it's in a 3-way. It's not gay if it's in a 3-way. All right. We are drafting. Draft-a-Palooza is here. It's almost like Lollapalooza or whatever. It's almost a concert going on here. Well, Lonely Island should be at the Palooza. You would think a Lonely Island would show up at a Palooza every once in a while. So I have not done anything to look at my rankings because it's just tough to do that during a draft. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know how to do it. All right, so focus back on the draft here. We got Baker Mayfield. So Kyler Murray ahead of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield dropping a little bit in drafts. Less sexy this year with sort of less cachet around his wide receiver group. I don't agree with that. Maybe it's the loss of offensive coordinator Liam Cohen that has people skeptical. Skepticism. Don't agree with it. But looking at our team right now, we've got 4 running backs. We've got a stud tight end in there. There are only 3 wide receivers, so wide receiver going to be a little soft. little soft right now. I'm going to have to get that group figured out. There's not that many good wide receivers left. We're getting to the end. So we got to really have that figured out. Need a QB at some point as well. I was hoping for Pearsall, but of course, Darth Apple stole him from me rounds before his ADP. You guys are reading my notes. If you read my best ball rankings notes on the DFS Army website, I have Ricky Pearsall flagged as one of my flag pants for this year. I put it in the notes why he is going to smash this season. He's going to outplay his ADP. Love him. So my next pick, okay. This is what I was hoping for. This is my first Justin Fields draft of the year. I want to talk about Justin Fields for a second because I've got him as a potential league breaker. This is not a season where there are a ton of quarterbacks to quote unquote wait on that I feel really confident in. There's a few, right? So if we're not drafting, this is more a season-long discussion than anything else. Do I feel safe with Fields as my only quarterback in this type of contest? No, of course not. You need more. You need a few of them. Fine, we'll get a bunch. But in our redraft league, we only get to use one. So Fields is one of my guys this year. Listen, we know what he does. He's got the legs. He's got Garrett Wilson. Jets don't have much else going on at wide receiver, for throwing, but they have enough. And I think they're going to run Fields quite a bit. So Fields, I don't think he has that monster upside, but I think he can be your 12th. I think he can be your 12th guy. Weekly winners format. Yes, we've done a bunch. I've done a few, but primarily Fantasy Fling is doing them here. He had Tuesdays at 5 whenever he's around. So like we've been doing a specific weekly winners breakdown here as well. Fling kind of studied it, and so I've left most of it to Fling in terms of doing those. Okay, let's see. I need more wide receiver talent. Keon Coleman, Rashad Bateman, Kirk, Mims, Hollywood. I'm going to go Bateman here. Could go a lot of different ways here. Keon Coleman's fine. Mims, cool. There's a couple other names. Yeah. Diggs is definitely going to Aquapalooza. I might go to Aquapalooza and be like, why are you taking my name? Why are you using my Palooza theme? I can see Diggs at Aquapalooza. Ray, you'd appreciate this. My dad's at Mohegan Sun right now, like not too far from your neck of the woods. He wanted me to come, but yeah. Couldn't make it. So we have our quarterback run happening right now, as you can see. And let's scroll down a little bit here. Caleb, Jordan Love. So all those middling, Jared Goff goes, Drake May goes. Look at the QB run that just happened. Janu Smith, sucker, didn't get the news, motherfucker. Like X Showtime just took Janu Smith as if he was still the Miami tight end. Sucks to suck. You should be watching the show. You would know better. You don't want to take Janu Smith right after Evan Ingram. He needs to be moved down. That's not a good spot for him. His landing spot, not very good. Oops. There we go. So we just had a donkey pick of Janu Smith. Hopefully X Showtime Live is not here in the chat and I didn't just troll him in person, because that's not what I'm about. Ask me about the lineup. I say it looks great. All about that love. I ain't trying to hate. Mohegan greater than Foxwoods. It's a hot take from Ray. Local. They got the show series there. I try to get the wife to go up there. Like Sebastian Maniscalco is going to be there in a couple of weeks. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to go see Seabass in person. Oh, yeah, Mohegan Sun. Nothing better than a I'm on the clock here, but Nothing better. Oh, we'll go Mims Jr. for the upside. Nothing better than a mortgage convention. If you got to go to a mortgage convention, it should be at the casino, close by. If you got to go to the convention. I used to go to the fantasy football conventions. Like for businesses. Then I was like, why am I going to this? I'm not doing this. Then I stopped. It was boring. I was bored. I was like, I'm not doing that. There goes Hunter Henry for Drago. Little Reach-a-roni. Probably, I'm assuming, Drago, you got Drake May. Remember, you don't need to correlate in this format. Get your head away from the correlation. We don't need that. This is just advance. That's all you need to do. Get to the next round. Don't worry about correlation. Garendo. See, in this format, there is some possible benefit to handcuffing. Like, I might handcuff in this format. Yes, that's right. If I can, I might get Garendo a little later. Let's see who we got at QB. I need another QB. They're running out. We'll take Geno. All right, so my team, let's do a quick overview here. I've got Fields and Geno Smith at QB. Sketchy, very sketchy QB. Need a third one. Right? McCaffrey, Bucky, Omarion, and Trevion. So we got a nice group of running backs. They're all studs. Wide receiver group, Wilson, Ridley, Diggs, Bateman, Mims Jr. so far. Let me look at the bye weeks. Pretty well spread out. No overlap. Sam Laporta at tight end. So the only overlap I'm seeing is McCaffrey, Trey Henderson at the running back position, but I have two other ones, so that's fine as well. Not much overlap going on at wide receiver. So pretty good start. I need a third. I feel like I need a third QB, ideally maybe with a different bye week than these other two, although not absolutely a must. Running back, probably could add another one here at some point. And then wide receiver, we definitely can use a few more of these. So that's where we're sitting right now. Tight end definitely need another one or two as well. Again, everybody really overthinking trying to stack their players. Don't bother with that. This is weekly winners. We don't care. This is a cash game. We just want to advance. Having a monster score one particular week will not help at all. Will make no difference. You just need to get past the week. You need to outscore one person, and you don't need a bunch of correlation to do that at all. You just need to have a good score, have a nice lineup. That's it. Wide receiver. What did I say I was doing? Oh, yeah, I need to get a QB. No, this is Eliminator. I'm sorry. We're in the Eliminator, not the weekly winner. This is the Eliminator. That's what I'm saying. I said it wrong. In the Eliminator, I really want Darnold. I'm going to do it, even though he has an overlapping bye week. This is the Eliminator. Half of the field eliminated every single week, right? So if we're starting with 200,000 contestants here, by week 2, we're at 100. By week 3, we're at 50. And by week 4, we're at 25. Now, remember, 25. By week 4, you're already in the top 10%, 25. That goes down to 12 by week 5, right? Now we're really whittling it down. Well, week 6, we're down to 6,000. Still a lot, but okay, I'm feeling pretty good. 3, 1,500, 750, 350. By week 10, you're down to like 350, right? Once you're at that level, you're now going up against people who may have fucked up their bye weeks. You might get a guy and you might get lucky. That's why you want a lot of lineups in this, because once you get to those later weeks, you might have somebody who's stacked, week 12 buys and it's week 12 and you get them as an opponent. Your team is shit. You luck your way through. I think having a lot of entries is the way. It's the only way in this kind of a contest to really give yourself a decent enough shot at advancing. So, all right, I'm soft at tight end. I'm soft at wide receiver. I've got all my QBs in place. Let's see what tight ends are available. We got Brenton Strange, Zach Ertz, Gesicki. Let's go with Brenton Strange here. Still some good tight ends. I need more wide receivers as well. Got our second tight end in there. Garendo goes. You guys just grabbed him. Where did Garendo go? I forgot I was going to try to take him as a handcuff anyway. But yeah, SJS just took him right before my pick. I would have taken him, but it is what it is. Not cool, sir. Not cool. All right, here we go. We're drafting in the Eliminator. Bigsby, Josh Palmer. I don't have much high hopes for Josh Palmer. I get it. He's on a team that lacks wide receivers, and, why not? But he just stinks. He's not that good. I've had him as a player on a lot of my dynasty teams, so I followed his career kind of close enough. He's had plenty of opportunity with the Chargers to even be the primary wide receiver, and he just always fails. So I've watched Palmer long enough to know not to expect much. It's kind of like Curtis Samuel. He kind of been a sketchy career. He's on this team. He never has delivered consistent results. He's been around forever. I don't think that's changing. Yeah, this is correct. Yes. But, Nick, the flip side is also true. That you could just luck box your way through a team that didn't deserve to make it a couple rounds, and you just kind of got lucky with your opponent having a bad week. So it goes both ways, but that's why I keep saying I feel like you can't really even judge your eliminator talent unless you get a lot of entries in there, because you need to account for getting squeezed out. It's the same thing in your season-long league. What happened to me last year? I had the best team. I had the absolute best team in my league by far. And all of a sudden I run into, Jonathan Taylor putting up a 60 or a 55 for an opponent that had an otherwise dead team. And that was enough to eliminate a team that I had that was clearly going to win, a tournament that week. Oh, okay. Adam Thielen, you just left him for me, guys? All right. 2 rounds beyond his ADP. Okay. Thank you. I'll take it. Adam Thielen. Is there a better eliminator guy than that? He's usually good for the first 5 or 6 weeks until he gets hurt. Fine by me. That's all I need you for. I need 5 or 6 weeks and we're golden. I still need another tight end. I still need more wide receiver talent. So that's where I will be focusing my last few picks. And again, everybody now taking names that aren't even really going to be doing anything or helpful to them, aren't starting or anything like that. And I can still take starters, which is cool. Tight end, K. Dotton. Wide receiver, Pat Bryant, Calvin Austin. I think I'm going to go Calvin Austin here. Just get another quality wide receiver on there. And then we'll spend our last couple of picks, I think. Which we're at 16. Yeah, I'll probably spend my last 2 picks on more tight ends. Tight end is the reason. Ray's here. We've talked about it, but the reason I like 3 and even 4 tight end is that crazy group. You never know what you're going to get. It's very volatile. A lot of these players, one week they'll get you a 14, the next week they're getting you a 2, right? So if you have 4 of them, you really have a shot at getting the 14, 15, 16 points out of the tight end slot most weeks, right? And if I have enough going on at wide receiver and enough at running back that I really can't improve on it, okay, let's just, get the extra tight end in there. And if for me, what happens is if it doesn't work out, or let's say two of the tight ends absolutely smash one week, like, oh, you had too many and you didn't get to, no, they can fill in the flex too. Like they're not normally going to, but they could, right? So in my perfect world, I want the running back doing well enough to occupy the flex spot. But if the tight end has this great week, okay, get in there, step up. If a second guy comes up, it's rare that two, but I have a team with, I started with Sam Laporta. So he's really good. So he should be an anchor tight end. He should have some serious weeks, but not every week. He's not consistent. So that's why I need to add a few other names, especially this late in the draft. If I look through the draft board, who the hell else is there? You've got a couple of tight ends that look okay. The wide receiver group looks like a bunch of names that you're not even sure if they're going to play. And the running backs are all just backup guys. QBs are all probably mostly non-starters, although actually we still have a few starting QBs left. So, at this point in the draft, you just kind of think about, all right, what's a position group where I can gain any sort of even mild usefulness out of someone this late? So, of course, everybody who's listening did the same thing. And, the run on tight end was crazy just now. Classic, right? That's how it goes. I have Laporta and Brenton Strange also both with week 8 buys. So I'm actually going to, just for that reason alone, need to add another one, and I will. Coming up on the last round. So we'll kind of do a little overview of everybody's draft here. I think in the last round, I'm probably going to take another tight end. Although I will say, this isn't like a good Jackson Dart format for me, because even if he does play, which I think he will this year, I don't think it happens till much later in the season. A couple of wide receivers floating around that I think are still kind of useful. Roman Wilson is acceptable, but I think now with the acquisition, I don't think we're going to see 3 wide receivers for the Steelers. Jalen Noel, okay. Dante Thornton for Las Vegas is kind of interesting, running with the starters. So there's a couple of names there. But I think I'm going to go with old reliable Tyler Higbee. Close it out. Hopefully he doesn't have the same bye week as these other guys. Yeah, week 8. Oh, he does. Oh, no. Should have looked at that. So I have 3 tight ends with a week 8 bye. And then I have Theo Johnson to anchor it down on week 8. Yikes. That might be a tough week to get through. I also have 2 quarterbacks with week 8 buys. So as I'm looking at my team, I can't see everybody's bye weeks when I do the review. But as I'm looking at my team, I got a bunch of week 8 buys. Oops. Not too many. Nothing at running back and nothing at wide receiver, but my QBs. So I'll only have really one QB going for me on week 8, and that's Justin Fields, who's my top guy, and that's fine. And then I'll only have one tight end going for me in week 8, and that's Theo Johnson. So probably in for a rough tight end score that week, but hopefully having all my running backs and all those other players, if we get to week 8, will help us squeak through. All right, so that wraps it up for the first Draft-a-Palooza draft of the night. We'll do a real quick overview here. So we got Darth Apple. I'll start there. Apple with just 2 quarterbacks. Oh, come on. Just 2 quarterbacks taken. Nix and Stroud, 2 good quarterbacks. 4 strong running backs with Benson, Barkley, Brown, and Williams in the first. So when you do that, when you spend your first 3 picks, let's scroll up a little bit here so we can see it. But when you spend your first 3 picks like that at running back, you don't need to really keep hammering running backs, and which you didn't do. Those guys, the bye weeks are all spread out, 9, 8, and 10. So that's fine. You get Trey Benson in there as a backup. The wide receiver group, an early grab of Ricky Pearsall, knowing that that's my favorite guy. Screwed me. But nice trio with Sutton, Addison, and Pearsall. Travis Kelce I like there. and of course Benson, Wandale, sort of classic names. All the tight ends taken late as well. No issues with the bye weeks on those guys. You get 4 of them, which I think is good. And yeah, this team looks pretty good, Darth. Nicely done. All right, so who else is in here with us? Of course, we had my draft, and I talked about it as I did it here, but we got McCaffrey, Bucky, Omarion, and then added in Trevion Henderson. So 4 stud starting running backs on my team. That's how I like to draft these. If you can get the 4th guy and not lose too much at the other positions, that is a win. 2 of them have overlapping bye weeks, but it's week 14. And by week 14, this contest will be down to like 50 people. If we get there, I'm happy. I'm happy even to get there. And I don't even know like what the numbers would be at that point. We might be in the championship. So hopefully the 2 bye weeks that week don't hurt me too bad, but I have 2 others that aren't on bye week that week. Got Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Diggs, Bateman. So I got a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. It's really just a number here. We got 7 wide receivers. That should be enough, and 4 tight ends, with including Sam Laporta, and then a bunch of sort of turtly ones with Higbee, Theo Johnson, and Brenton Strange. I like the team. I like the way it went. Let's see who else is in here with us. Of course, Ivan Drago. Oh, Majestic Otter in here with us. That's Sam. That's Sean, right? So the Otter, you start with Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Higgins, Adams. I was going to take Adams there too. You stole him from me. That is not fun at all. But I got Amari and Hampton. I'm cool with it. Odunze, there's a good spot for Odunze. Matthew Golden, a little bit of upside there. Jordan Mason, I love Jordan Mason this year. So that's fine there as well. And maybe Tajay Spears a little bit overkill in this spot. See, this is what I don't really love, the Tajay Spears. At this point in the draft, I really want to be taking, I still, in round 10, that spot, especially with all of those really good, see, had you gotten a 3rd really good running back early, these spots, the Mason spot, the Tajay Spears spot, could have been used on maybe, other positions where they're scoring for you a little frequently. Mason, I can get behind regardless, but maybe Spears, Rachaad White, these guys are not going to be super beneficial. Rico, these are not like guys that are going to be super beneficial. So I would just maybe use these spots for, go to that, 1 extra running back early allowed me not to buy this many. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 running backs, I think is a lot. 7 wide receivers, only 2 tight ends with Tyler Warren and Mason Taylor. So, Sean, my critique of this would be maybe try to get, especially when you're going to go soft at tight end with like these guys, Warren and Mason, I would be looking to maybe have 1 or 2, at least 1 more of that, and maybe 1 less of the sort of backup running back types. That'd be how I would adjust. Yeah, we're doing another one in a minute. We'll just do this little breakdown, and then we'll jump in another one. We'll do like one of the more standard ones, a correlative one here on Underdog. Maybe I don't know. You guys let me know which one you want to do, but I'll look at the choices. But we'll go to a more standard one. I feel like I got to do an eliminator every single time because I just love that contest. And I really do want to make sure I have 50 or 60 entries going in that thing. I'm going to be following it. I like the style. But again, last draft that we're going to talk about. Oh, we got Soups and Ivan Drago in here. Soups, and you guys are the veterans of all of these breakdowns. You've heard it a million times. I'm not going to spend too much on it other than we'll give a quick rundown here. So Soups, I don't care about your correlation. You got Kyler Murray, got a nice trio of QBs here with Bryce Young, McCarthy, and Murray, all with different bye weeks. Running back, you got Kenny Walker. So I do have concern here a little bit in terms of the bye weeks, where your 2 primary running backs, Montgomery and Walker, are bye week 8. And then you got, just backups in there. So Tony Pollard will fill in for one of those spots, and hopefully maybe a second one, one of Dobbins, Eckler, Jaden Blue, one of those guys will kind of step up if you made it to week 8. But I don't know. It's a pretty soft start at running back there with Walker and Montgomery. But that's what happens when you take McBride. You only get 2 tight ends. McBride, Puka, Nico Collins. That's the big dogs up top. Puka and Nico with Olave backing them up. So I think running back is going to be concerning on this team. But I always say that every Soups draft. And then Ivan Drago, the early pick of Achane. I like it. Drake London, stud. Back it up with Chuba Hubbard, DeAndre Swift, and Travis Etienne, who I've seen you take a lot. I like all of it. So Etienne is like in pick 85, still a super relevant running back potentially this year. So I like that spot. Chuba and Swift, I love them both. Fine. You got that going. With Achane, this is a really strong group of running backs, even though they weren't like not that much draft capital was kind of wasted on them. You got Jalen Waddle, who I think will be going up in ADP now that Jonnu Smith is off of that team for Miami. I love that as well. JSN, London, and Waddle. I think that's an acceptable trio of wide receivers. Jaden Higgins in there. Got some QBs as well. And all the tight ends kind of taken late here, which is solid, Henry. I just think the one thing I would remind you is that there's no reason to reach for Henry just because you have Drake May. I know it's like I would say it's and Pitts with Penix. Those things are almost instinctual, like you're doing that, but this contest does not need that at all. So you don't have to worry about that kind of thing in this contest. Bye weeks are 7 and 8, so you're where I'm looking at the wrong name here. Hold on. We're looking for Drago. Let me just look at your bye weeks here. Yeah, May and Penix are spread out pretty well. Your running backs are pretty well spread out as well, well thought through. Tight ends are spread out. So I like how you very clearly and purposefully spread out the tight end exposure. All right, let's go. You guys ready for another one of these? Let's go back to the lobby and get into another one. What are you thinking, everyone? We got the sprint. Haven't done many of those. The marathon, that is a unique format where it's just a combo score. Weekly winner, I'm leaving for Fling because he's doing them on Tuesdays at 5 every single week and a bunch of them. So I don't want to push that here, and I don't really enjoy it. Let's go Pitbull. You know what? This is a 10 entry max. Fine. Poppy, but super flex. Talking my language too. Let's do a Pitbull this time, but I do want to do some of these super flex ones also. I do like that. That's talking my language a little bit. The reason I like the super flex and getting into these oddball formats is it like the Pitbull doesn't really fuck it. So like, I like the oddball formats because the best ball bros that are drafting, it's kind of like what we saw in this draft, right? You just get used to like certain things like reaching for players and correlation and all of that. Like everybody's drafting on underdog is doing that. We want to play in the contests that don't require that so that our opponents are not necessarily using the right strategy. Yeah. Ooh, I love it. We'll do, I love the super flex. We'll do the puppy though. We'll do this Pitbull, I guess. I'm not going to do too many of these. There's only 10 available. So let's YOLO. Let's do it. Well, wait, what was I saying? The Pitbull, 22nd per pick. All right. YOLO, right? Here we go. Entering the Pitbull. Anybody want to join me? Now's your chance. We're doing the Pitbull. Two spots waiting. So these are clearly filling pretty quick. Now, reminder, the Pitbull is basically the same thing as the puppy or any of those. We got to make it to the playoffs. Then when you're in the playoffs, scores reset, and you have a three-week situation where you have to advance each week. This is not my favorite style to play, but this does require correlation. We got to think about the playoffs, right? Week 15, 16, 17. We get to the playoffs. Now we got to advance. And we got to win to advance in the playoffs. This one's a little interesting. Like they put you in a 6-person pod, you got to be 1 out of 6, and then the next week you're in a 5-person pod, you got to be 1 out of 5. So a little bit maybe easier to advance than, I don't know if it's easier, but like less intense of eliminations compared to the standard, like the puppy, the big puppy, and all that shit. Yeah. Like if you're going to do one, yeah, BBM is like $5 million. You're not winning that. You ain't winning that. 5 million. I guess maybe you could, but like give myself a little more chance to win something. Let's see. We're still waiting for 2 spots. See, this is what happens when I do a $20 one. That's why I have to stick to the $5 level, because everybody, the normal people who are joining these are like, no, I don't want to do a $10 max or 12. The 20 is a little too much. So here in the chat, it's harder to fill this one in real time, but I am in the, for anybody watching, if you're not in there yet, this is the Pitbull 10 entry max, $20 entry contest. There he is. Daniel Swan is in there. D Swizz. So we got 2 more spots to fill. I'll just keep, he maxed out the Pitbull. Ivan, you're a beast, bro. You're a beast. Let's talk about my best ball rankings for a minute, since I haven't gone through this. So guys, this is how I have my, my running back rankings currently laid out with, I kind of highlight some of my favorites there, but I've got it. Saquon Barkley, obviously number 1 overall. Let's keep checking, waiting for 2 people. So as that's doing that, I'll go over this a little bit. Bijan, Jameer, then I got Derrick Henry there. Who's my lad this year, dude? I think it's Pearsall, bro. I feel like I've been saying it. I think it's Pearsall this year. Last year we had Lad and everything, and it took a minute for Lad to actually get there in terms of like the first half of the season versus the second half. I think Pearsall is that guy this year. So that's who, I hope I'm right, but I have Pearsall almost everywhere, except now that you guys are in these drafts with me, you're grabbing him. And so it's like in my drafts, it's artificially pushing up Pearsall's ADP. But in the ones before I started talking about it, I was really getting him very further down. And I just think that guy is going to break out and be a stud. And everybody's going to be taking him in round 3 next year. And you're going to be so happy that you got him in round 6 or 7 or 8 this year. Like round 8, he's going to round 8 unless you're like aware. And in one of these drafts against us, still waiting for 1 person in that contest. So real quick on just the running backs here. I got Janty, I've got McCaffrey, right? And Achane. Love McCaffrey, Achane, RB7. Go, if Tua plays a healthy season, Achane's going to smash. It's just that simple. And now without Jonnu Smith, even better. Jonathan Taylor comes in at number RB9 for me. Just ahead of Bucky. I mean, these are pretty standard. Where I start to differ with ADP starts to happen like here a little bit. I mean, maybe I have Henry a little higher than other people, but why? Why are people not high on Derrick Henry? Like, it's crazy. They literally just brought in a second tight end. They're going to be playing 12 personnel. They're going to be playing smash mouth football. Derrick Henry will continue to be a massive part of it. So there we go. We're starting in 35 seconds. Bucky Irving. Chase Brown is one of my flag plants, guys. You know this. I mean, we talk about this. Chase Brown, absolutely. Second half of the year, last year, whenever, I'm picking 3rd. So last year, whenever, let's get this going again. I'm going to go with the same view I've been going with, which is the draft board. You guys told me this is a better view, so I'm going to show this on the screen. Cato, go in the closet. Yep. Yeah. Derrick Henry's a good. How are we? Is that even part of? Like, Derrick Henry was the man last year. He was so good. And there's nothing different about his situation. And they leave me with Saquon Barkley. Thank you. I'll take it. So, guys, this format is much more conducive to late round sleepers that will help you win your league, right? So we just did the eliminator format. And in that one, I don't care as much about that. I just need a good, strong team to get me past the first 5 or 6 weeks. That's all I need. Okay? But in this format, the people who end up winning these, and Razor here in the chat, has been on the show with me a bunch of times. Best friends with Paulie, not Paulie Walnuts, but DJ Paulie D. Besties from high school. Ray, 200K winner, says, you know, how do you win these, right? It's when you take Chase Brown late, or you take Kyron Williams late, and they become the starter and they start surging, or you take James, what the fuck was his name? The running back Robinson late. I'm just going through like the last 4 years of that guy, right? Or you get Puka late, or you get Amon-Ra late in his year. You got to catch the, you've got to, in order to win this, you've got to catch the late round sort of miracle player who comes out and you spent very little draft capital on them and they drive your team to a championship because you're getting massive production from your pick 12, your 12th round pick, or your first, where your opponents aren't getting them. That's how you win these. It's that simple. That's how you win these. So unlike the other formats that we were talking about that did a full cumulative year score, this format particularly cares what your players are doing in weeks 15, 16, and 17, much more than anything else, right? And so that's where the Jordan Mason type, the Trey Benson type who comes on late because of an injury, that's how you get compelled to actually taking down a tournament. And we've also discussed in this format, there is zero benefit, virtually no benefit to handcuffing your running backs. In this format, if I handcuff my running back, so let's say I have Saquon Barkley here and I take Will Shipley or whoever his backup is, right? Saquon gets hurt early. Will Shipley is coming on strong. You're like, dude, why wouldn't you want to back that up? And I'm going to tell you why. Because somebody else got Bijan Robinson and Will Shipley, and they're just doing that much better. So, like, if that injury happens to your first round pick, you don't even need to bother to handcuff it because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter because somebody has a better team. We're going up against 200,000 lineup. That means somebody has that player. Most people have that player and don't have the injured guy, right? And that team is going to be better than yours where you lost your first round pick, which is why it makes no sense for the Christian McCaffrey guy in this format to take a Rendo. It's not going to help them. They're still going to lose. So like that approach is never going to win. I really want a wide receiver here. I feel like I'm going to go Devontae. Devontae's been this guy that I've just taken a lot of this year. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I really think Devontae, he did not look like he slowed down much last season. And now he's with Matthew Stafford, the kingmaker. Matthew Stafford makes kings out of guys like Devontae. And let me share with you a scenario. Puka oft injured. If he gets hurt, Devontae Adams elevates to, getting you the kind of scores that players in round one, Malik Neighbors and types are getting you. And I just want to point out that the dude in the one hole took Tyreek Hill at the top of round 2. That is the earliest I've seen him go. So kudos to whoever that is for sacking up Banda Bear and taking, Tyreek Hill there really early. Maybe he feels that Tyreek Hill is somebody that is going to benefit from Jonnu Smith, or maybe he just wanted to get a little weird and a little different with that draft. I don't know. What did I just do? No, don't do that. Yeah. Okay. I don't know, but that's pretty crazy. JJ, I've seen him, That was very early for him. I'm not going to disagree with that one either. All right, so I've started with my 2 running backs, Barkley, Chase Brown. We got Devontae Adams. So let's see where we go from there. Soups, Henry, Kyron Williams. Come on, bro. Take that 3rd running back. You know you want to do it. Soups almost always waits on running backs. Loves to wait on those running backs. In this format, this is the one to wait on them. Don't do it in the eliminator. It's like you switch it up. Wait on them here. In the eliminator, you got to take them early. Here you could wait a little bit. But I love Amari and Hampton too. JSN. And so I'm just looking at who are these other people. Hackman. I don't really see too many names that I recognize from the chat in this draft. Which one of you guys are in this draft with me? I know Daniel Swan, you're in here. Which one is you? Let me know. Savage. D Swan. Soups is in here. Daniel Swan is in here. I don't know that we got anybody else. So Daniel Swan is in here. You're pick number 2. Swansman. I'm coming up on my next pick. I've got 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver so far. No QB. No tight end. The super elite, let's see. I can take a stud quarterback here. Yeah. I don't really get why Jalen Hurts is going like that much lower than the other stud quarterbacks. Is he really that different from Jaden Daniels this year? Is he really that different from anybody else? I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I think the more difficult schedule. So now I have Hurts paired up with Saquon Barkley, which is like negative correlation. But Hurts is not that different from Jackson or Allen. Yeah, fuck those AIs, by the way. You know what's going to happen when all these assholes use the same AI to help them pick their teams or whatever? What's going to end up happening is they're all going to have the same damn team. And so, you know what? We don't do it that way here. Hell no. Plus, it's no fun letting AI make your picks for you. I get why people do it. You can draft a lot of teams really quick, and that's fine. I think I got to go wide receiver here. I don't like Koso that much. I'm going to double tap George Pickens. I think George Pickens could be a touchdown scorer this season. Hang on. Is something cut off here? Let me widen this one out a little bit. Oh, there we go. Smooth. You know what I think of when I see the name Smooth? I left my Philly at home. Do you have another? I want to get blunted, my brother. Come on now. Smooth B. You guys know nice and smooth? Wait, Jeff Adams, are you in this draft with us? This is like, I love all these new names. And also, some people are watching on YouTube. Are most of you guys seeing this on YouTube? Are you guys on Twitter? Where are you guys seeing this stream from? Just wondering. Curious. All right, so we got Jalen Hurts, Barkley, Chase Brown. So I only have 2 running backs here. Ooh, light on running back for my taste. Let's see what happens. Most people watching on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. EAP, this is not BBM. This is called the Pitbull, which is a 20-entry max, 10-entry max BBM style contest. Same overall style, but 20 max. Now, I also want to point out something else here. Note that in this draft, with fewer people from the chat, by the way, in the draft, Juwan Jennings goes ahead of Ricky Pearsall. So there you go. So some of the droppers, that haven't necessarily dropped in ADP yet. Of course, Janu Smith. Be careful of that one. He should drop significantly. There goes Soups. Come on, bro. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. You guys are killing me. I don't get to have my favorite things, my toys. You take them away from me. So Pearsall ahead of Rome Odunze, appropriate. Let me look at my rankings real quick. Let me make sure that I have that correct. Let's see where Pearsall is. Yeah, well ahead of Odunze. And again, the next guy that I kind of have rising in the rankings is probably going to be Jalen Waddle. Like, I kind of have some interest in Jalen Waddle. 75 ADP. We're at pick number 70. So we should see a little run of running backs right here, secondary running backs. They will not be there when I get back. So I've got to take my secondary running back of choice, my third RB on my team. I'm gonna grab Swift there. Jeff Adams, man, we're doing these we're doing them 3 times a week. Best Ball Draft-a-Palooza. We're just drafting best ball teams. Get in there every day at noon. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon. Although, again, reserving the right to change that time around. It's golf season, and I might want to go golfing every once in a while. Switch it up. Do the 5 o'clock show. So when I do switch it up, I'll do like a 5 o'clock show. So you got to be subscribed. Not subscribed. It's free subscription. Notification bells. The DFS Army YouTube channel is free to subscribe to, people. It's absolutely free. We don't charge. Let's see. I'm coming up on another pick here. I can't even remember what was going on. I'm on the clock. All right, I've got 3 running backs, 2 wide receiver. Probably need a 3rd wide receiver here. Jerry Jeudy. If Flacco gets the starting job, they're going to have to throw a lot. I don't like the Browns that much. Like, their team is terrible, but I took Jeudy there over Judkins. I could have taken Judkins. I feel like fine with Judkins. He's going to be a starting running back. He should be good. Savage takes him instead. But between the two, I needed a wide receiver more. But Jerry Jeudy had a strong year last year. He was pretty good. They haven't replaced him with anything. I think Tillman healthy will, help that wide receiver group a little bit in general. I think Tillman is the next guy. But Cleveland, we still don't know who the quarterback is. Who's it going to be? I don't know. One nice thing about Jalen Hurts, Pickett and the Oregon rookie, Jesus Christ. Like, Giddens, it's not even Shedeur Sanders anymore. Sanders, busted. Pickett, maybe the QB. Pickett's so bad. If Pickett's their QB1, it's going to be gross. It should be Flacco. What they should do, I'm also hoping to see Jameis Winston get traded to one of these teams. If it's not the Browns, I want to see Jamo get traded to the Saints. Would completely revamp that team. Would change the whole thing. Soups, always taking my guys. Always taking my guys. All right, so I still don't have... Now, I have on my squad Jalen Hurts, so I almost freed myself from the ability to worry too much about correlation. Oh, Dart will be playing, dude. Dart will be starting later this year. Like, I'm full confidence that Dart will start games this season. Why wouldn't he? What else are they doing? What else are they up to? Let's take a look at the running back group that's still remaining. It's not pretty. We're in the backup zone at running back, which is fine. I've already got my 3 starters. I'm looking at the wide receiver group that's available. You got secondary names. Brandon Ayuk, who we don't know will be healthy to start the season. Keon Coleman. I know where I'm going with this pick, and it is Travis Kelce, Mr. Pfizer himself. More immunizations for Travis Kelce than any other human being. I don't even know how he's alive. Somehow Taylor Swift is giving him her succubus energy, feeding it to him. He's partying all off season. Bradley Cooper's there. Blake Lively. Ryan Reynolds is like, hey, what's up? Have you seen my new movie? Come hang out. DiCaprio shows up with his Insta model girlfriend. You're like, who's this new Instagram model? He's like, she's 25. And you're like, we know. That's what Travis Kelce's life. I just saw some footage of him like making out with T-Swizz in some public location. I'm like, yep, okay. I don't blame you. Fine by me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Let's go Evan Ingram. Let's double stud it up at tight end. I like Evan Ingram this year. With Kelce and Ingram, I feel pretty good about my tight end group. Let me ask you something, Jeff Adams. If you're dating Taylor Swift and Leo calls and he's like, guys, I'm going to, think of like a fancy restaurant. That's where these guys go, like fancy restaurants. I'm going to, I don't know the names of fancy. I'm going to Carbone. You guys want to meet up? It's like, yeah, I'll meet up. All right. Right. What are you saying? Okay. Carbone? Nobu? Sure. Yeah. We'll meet you there. You're not out Perry's Steakhouse. You're going to Perry's in Denver. You're like, yeah, let's go to Perry's. I'm like, okay. Are you studying tape? Are you working out? No. You're going out hanging out with Leo. Takes a minute. Takes a minute to get your, get back to game shape after you've been spending the off season with Taylor Swift, just party. That's what happened last year. It took him a while. And then he finally kind of gets back there. Who calls for Chili's? Which of Taylor's friends is like, hey, Trav, I'm going. You know who's going to Chili's? I'll tell you who's going to Chili's. His football buddies. It's like, Gray calls him, and he's like, hey. He's like, bro, I'm going to Chili's with, the other tight ends and tight ends from the team. You want to come hang with us? Mecole Hardman's going to be there. Pat might show up. Mahomes and Brittany. They didn't show up. And Travis Kelce's like, nah, I'm not going to Chili's. I can't get Taylor to go to Chili's. She won't even go. And then he's not going to that. When the teammates call and they're like, bro, we're going to Applebee's, all you can eat apps, right? They got the all you can eat apps special going at Buffalo Wild Wings. Actually, right now at Buffalo Wild Wings, we are not sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings, but I'm just gonna let you know. Yeah, give me a 5-course Chili's meal. But no, Buffalo Wild Wings has endless apps right now. I was there yesterday getting some wings, get my birthday wings. They got the endless apps. I feel like if a bunch of offensive linemen, T-Swizz has never been to Fridays. No, maybe when she was like 15. Can't go to Friday. If you're Taylor Swift, though, you can't go to Fridays. You can't go, if you're that level of celebrity, you wouldn't want to, but you can't go to a place where the plebeians are. You can't be out amongst the riffraff if you're Taylor Swift. Nope. Too famous. She passed that level. She cannot be out amongst the unwashed masses. We're disgusting. We are savages. Taylor Swift, wave high, but not be amongst the unwashed masses. No, not at all. Javonte Williams, I'm cooling on Javonte, but if you're going to give it to me now, this late in the draft, I'm going to accept that. Yeah. If you're, the O linemen, and they're like goons. You know what's interesting about NFL offensive linemen that you start to see after football? A lot of them get really skinny after and ripped, right? So these guys are athletes, but they're made to like these guys are athletes, but they're forced, like the offensive linemen, to stay large as part of like their job, right? So every now and again, you see an offensive lineman that finishes their career out, and they were this puffy kind of like chunky guy, had to maintain like 300 pounds, and they were told to do so. And all of a sudden they're like, we don't have to do that anymore. And they get ripped. They get ripped, like shredded. And you're like, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Devontae Adams definitely does not have an actual Taco Bell in his house. Who the fuck would want a Taco Bell in your house? Like, I love Taco Bell, don't get me wrong. But not that much. Yeah, Devontae Adams, you know what? He was good. Disappointment, after the injury, sure. But you know what? Another year between him and that injury. The more you space it out, the healthier you get. Think about J.K. Dobbins. Now J.K. Dobbins' injury way worse, but it took him like 3 years to fully recover. And now J.K. Dobbins, all right, he looks pretty good. Like, he was explosive again this last year. So there's that. I see another name still floating out there that I really love. I'm not even going to say the name. I'm not even going to say it. But there's one more name floating out there that I really enjoy. If it gets to me, I'm going to be excited. Yeah, with the Dobbins thing, I think Dobbins is an explosive player. I think the biggest thing with Dobbins, by the way, I talked about this the other day, is I do think it hurts RJ Harvey this year. I think with Dobbins Dobbins is like equally talented compared to Dobbins is great. I think it hurts RJ Harvey's fantasy. But remember, I don't care about the team, Jeff Adams 9699. I don't care about the team. I only care about fantasy production. I care about what the opportunity, those kind of things. That's all I give a shit about. I don't care if the team wins. Listen, you're a Broncos fan. I don't care. For me, we're here drafting. Like, I just don't care about wins and losses. I only care about fantasy. And when it comes to that, I am concerned with the addition, just that it negatively affects RJ Harvey to the point where Harvey and Dobbins aren't particularly useful for fantasy purposes. I'm going to now double down randomly on Cleveland wide receivers. I now have Jerry Jeudy and Tillman on my team. I don't know what's going on, but that's what I have. My wide receiver group is really shit. All right, so I'll just give an update of where I am in this draft here. I'm going to scroll up a little bit on this thing as well, but right now I'm sitting on 5 wide receivers, 5 running backs, a single QB, and 2 tight ends. I took 2 luxury tight ends, meaning tight ends, inside the top 10 rounds. So I can wait there. We'll worry about another 1 or 2 much, much later. We got Kelsey. We got Evan Ingram. Kelsey for late season surge because he's partying all early season, but late season surge. And that's when I need my guys surging. Week 15, 16, 17. That's what this format calls for. We also got to make the playoffs, right? So I got him for the late season surge. I've got the running back group, including Trey Benson for the late season surge, right? I talk about those names. We got Saquon, we got Chase Brown, Swift, love those guys, right? Great. But then we got Trey Benson for that late season surge. Harvey has an issue with pass protection as well, which I've heard, and I think that will keep him off the field. So just like I said, for me, I moved Harvey down in my rankings. Super explosive, great talent. I think he's going to have a good year, but I do think that opportunity is king for running backs, and with Dobbins there, I just think it harms the opportunity potential for him. All right, so with that said, so I've got Jalen Hurts at QB. Hurts alone will carry the QB position to the point where you don't really need a bunch of them. Basically, my thought with her, oh my God, they're almost all gone. So I'll need a second one. But my thought with Hurts is you don't take him that early and still need 3. If he's not doing it, he's not doing it. Yeah, and this thinking that Dobbins will be the starting running back. There you go. Will Larkin, what's up, my brother? If you want to join us in these drafts, we do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. Draft-a-Palooza. If you'd like to join DFS Army, of course, you can use promo code GEEK. Go set up for DFS Army. We'd love to have you as part of the team. But if you want to what I ask everybody to do, if you're on YouTube, is just make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you get a heads up whenever we go live. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon, but sometimes I might change this up. But we're drafting best ball teams all summer long together. We're hanging out, having fun. It's a palooza. If you guys were here, I'd make you steaks and burgers on the grill, smash burgers, but I can't do that. So all I can do is hang out, get you some Blue Moons. I just bought, I got my fridge is loaded with Blue Moons. No, these are money leagues. What you're watching here, we're just drafting. We're drafting on Underdog. These are best ball contests. These are real money drafts. This one was $20 to enter, but these are best ball contests. So this one, we just run a whole season. It's a big tournament. And at the end of the season, somebody's going to win a couple $100,000. Do I just do Underdog? We do. So here we're doing best ball contests. Underdog, DraftKings, Yahoo, and ESPN don't really have best ball contests like this. Amongst ourselves, just so you guys know, and Tattoo here, it might be in the chat right now, but we do little best ball on Sleeper. We do Sleeper leagues, just 12-man Sleeper leagues. We got a few going right now. So if you're in the DFS Army Discord, let us know. We're just launching new ones and just drafting against each other, slow drafts. So we're just having fun doing best ball drafts all summer long. These are not mocks. These are real. These are for money. I don't like mock drafting. It's a waste of my personal time. I'd rather put $5 up, $10 up, and give myself a chance at a win, but also get to draft paying attention. Yeah. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. You're in your leagues against your friends. We're practicing for those. We're all in season-long fantasy. We love it. We got our dynasty drafts going, but doing a bunch of these best ball drafts flexes your draft muscles so that when your season-long draft does come around, you're up against your buddies, $150, whatever it is, and bragging rights, which is the one you want to win the most. There you go. You don't have Underdog or Sleeper? Get on Underdog. Promo code DFS Army. You put in, I think, $200. They'll match it, give you $400 to play with. And just do best ball leagues. And by the way, when you get a deposit match, it's such a benefit. Like, put in $100, you'll get $200 worth of these best ball leagues today. What's the big deal? Do $25 ones. No, 40 of them. Win your $100 back. Plus, we're doing them in real time, so you can draft along with us. Promo code DFS Army gets you a deposit match on. I don't even mention it because I just assumed everybody watching these already had accounts. Promo code DFS Army also works on Sleeper, but only if you're going to play in money leagues that are like their own. When we do Sleeper, and by the way, how do you not have Sleeper? Don't you play fantasy football on Sleeper? You're still using Yahoo or those other ones? Sleeper is the best format. I just told one of the leagues that I'm in that if they don't switch to Sleeper, I'm just not going to be in that league anymore. All right, we're towards the end of this draft. Round 16, we've got a couple picks left. I'm going to go with a tight end that I kind of I'm excited about this year, Jatavian Sanders. All right. I feel like this team, I got 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 6 wide receivers. So I did kind of go a little too light at wide receiver. So we're going to try to beat that up just a smidge. I'm curious. I'm actually really curious from the chat. Do you guys think that Keenan Allen is going to get a job? Will he be on a team this year? Yeah, see, I have a situation like this too, and they're on CBS. And let me tell you something. The worst part about CBS is CBS still charges money to host the league. Will Larkin is a kid. My dad knows nothing about football, so I basically make and play for his team with trooper friends. That's awesome. By the way, tell your dad thank you for his service. Your dad's a hero. So congratulations on having a boss for a dad. Yeah, old people definitely use Yahoo. Yeah, you guys think Keenan gets a job somewhere? Yeah, and by the way, you got to get Sleeper. Sleeper is I'm in a league like this too, guys. It's on CBS. They charge $100 to host the league. I'm like, dude, I'm not throwing away $100. I don't even care anymore. I'm done. I'm done. That's fair. This is a fair statement. I kind of think that we're all friends here. Raz, you're friends with us here in the chat. If you're here in the Palooza, part of the Palooza is friendship. Yeah, I love this. I love this kid, Will Larkin. And your dad is awesome. By the way, when your dad chose to be a lieutenant in the drug unit, that's a man who wants action. Like he's not there just to get a paycheck. He wanted action. He wants to make a difference, and that's awesome. We are in the final round, people. I've got 2 quarterbacks, Hurts and Samwise Darnold. My running back group is great. Oh, I love this group. Barkley, Chase Brown, Swift, Javonte, and then Trey Benson, Trey Bizzies. Are you kidding me? Benson coming on strong when Connor gets hurt late, drives this team to a Bulldog championship. We're in the Bulldog. Wide receiver group, a little soft. Need Keenan Allen. As a matter of fact, if I could get another wide receiver in here, I pretty much need to do that because it's a little soft. And then at tight end, give me Kelsey, Evan Ingram, Jatavian Sanders, JT. I'll take that as well. I need one more wide receiver to bring this thing home. I don't know. Hate taking a wide receiver with the last pick. I'll just go with Tyler Lockett, last pick. Now, the gummies are legal. No one's coming for your gummies. Perfectly acceptable. Pain killing. So many things that you want those gummies for. All legal. Perfectly legal. Now, his dad's chasing down fentanyl dealers. Bad people. All right. Who's in here with me? Let's see. I don't know which one of you guys are in here with me. I'll do a little. Soups is here. I don't know if anybody else from the chat was in this draft with us. But that is a reminder. Don't do the $20 one. Oh, Daniel Swan, D Swan. Oh, in pick number 2. Let's look at you, Dan. All right, Daniel Swan is in here with us. D Swan 14. Jumps for Justin Jefferson. So just real quick on your draft, you definitely took 2 players earlier than they normally go. So you're starting with the 2-hole, but it's going to be a little different than most. We got Rasheed. I hope Mahomes is on there. He is. All right. I love it. All right, good. So there was thought and planning that went into this draft, and I love that. So right off the bat, we got Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, comboed up with Mahomes. Very solid start, D Swan. Right? Then, all right, you took Justin Jefferson and J.J. McCarthy's in there. Okay, probably we're hoping for some Addison action. Didn't work out. But we got Jefferson, McCarthy. Let's see if there's a tight end. Hawkinson. Beautiful correlation. So we've got a Minnesota stack and a KC stack. Did you get Mahomes? Yes. Where it went a little bit off the rails, though, in order to pull that off, we're a little soft at running back here. We got Josh Jacobs, Montgomery, got Jalen Warren, J.K. Dobbins. That could save you. Will Shipley. So this is a tournament setup, right? You need, if Saquon gets hurt, basically your thought here, and here's the brilliance of this, D Swan, assuming this was your thought. Most people with the 2 pick are getting Saquon Barkley and sort of this different approach. So you're on the 2 pick and your team will be different because you have Shipley. You effectively played that for the injury. And yeah, thank you, Will. And yes, I love Benson for the late surge. But this one, D Swan, what I love is how you thought through what you did here, right? And you took Shipley to sort of set your 2 spot up a little different from most. So really solid. I don't like Freiermuth, but there, whatever. Ferguson, these tight ends are sketchy outside of actually Fergie's fine. Yeah. Overall, this is a good draft. Solid with it. I already went through mine. I love the team that I put together here. I didn't need to correlate much with the quarterbacks because I got Jalen Hurts. Yeah. And it's perfect because you took him. You're in the Barkley hole, the 2 hole. So now you're like that number 2 team. Then instead of Barkley, Jefferson and Shipley. Everybody else the same. That's how you set yourself up to try to win a tournament. So I really like that approach, what you thought through. My team a little soft at wide receiver, but I got my guy. I got Wandale, who's a red zone guy. I got Keenan Allen. Maybe he'll come in late. Tyler Lockett, a little sketchy late. But we got Marvin Mims, touchdown scorer. George Pickens, deep ball guy. So, I think my wide receiver will make or break me, but my running backs look really good. My tight ends look really good, and my quarterbacks look really good. So we'll have to get some luck out of these wide receivers. The only other person in the draft with us, as far as I can tell, is Soups. And we see Soups just switches it up. I mean, in the weekly winner, in the eliminator, you're always waiting on running backs. And here we got the early running backs, Henry, Kyron, Omarion. I love those guys. Drake London, Debo, Pearsall. What a great group of wide receivers and running backs you have here, primarily because you waited for the other positions till super late. I think this is a great way to approach best ball. Dak Prescott in there. Do you have any correlation with him? No, not really. No correlation. Trevor Lawrence, any correlation? No, not really. So Brenton Strange with T-Law, I guess, but not a correlated lineup, but just really good, well built. Soups, I wish you built this for the eliminator. This is like an eliminator lineup, even better. This is what you want to do for the eliminator. Will Larkin, the tush push not getting banned. They already had the vote. But I will tell you one other thing. They already had the vote. So the tush push made it by 1 vote. They almost banned it. They did not. So it will be back. But here's my one thing with Jalen Hurts. You're right. He had the bad passing numbers last year, really down. If it wasn't for all those touchdowns, he has a terrible fantasy year last year, right? So here's the one difference. So last year, the Eagles were this great defensive team too. They didn't really need that much. Plus you had Saquon Barkley just doing all the scoring. You had the defense dominating. They didn't need that much out of Jalen Hurts last year. This year, their schedule is much tougher. They're facing a lot tougher offenses in particular. So they have that Super Bowl winner schedule. So I'm counting a little bit on the fact that they will need to throw more. In games where they needed to throw, Jalen Hurts absolutely went bonkers last year. So that's kind of what I'm counting on. They got the Super Bowl schedule. They're taking on a lot of better teams across the board. I don't think they'll be able to dominate as readily with their defense. They're going up against a better Commanders team twice this year. Those games were insane. They're going up against what I think is an improved Giants team slightly, but more so maybe an improved Dallas team. I think they're improved, right? Dallas team as well. So maybe more competitive games out of the division as well. And of course, outside of the division, they're taking on the top teams from all the AFC. So I just think the Eagles, yes, last year Hurts tough. But I also think that's why he dropped from round 2, like really, or 3 to round 5. So you're able to get Hurts a couple rounds after Allen and Jaden Daniels go. And I don't really think that is, And the AJ Brown stack, I mean, if you get that, the AJ Brown stack should be readily available. Like he should drop. I didn't love AJ Brown last year, certainly, but I think he's another one of those guys. The easiest stack, though, the one that most people end up doing with Hurts is Hurts and Smith, because you can get Smith Smith is just readily available in kind of round 5 or something like that. Usually you end up with like a Hurts Smith double tap for like the second place guy, like right where I was. If Smith didn't get taken by the second place guy right here, I was taking Smith with Hurts. and setting up that like nice and easy stack. AJ Brown goes a little too high in this one for me. I'm not buying AJ Brown in the top of round 2. I think he's the worst pick there. He just was not good enough to justify. He's not better, even with a good year from Hurts. Brown is not better than McConkey or some of these other wide receivers. Certainly not these running backs that went a little later for me, because he's just not consistent. All right, guys, that does it. That's 2 more drafts in the, 2 more drafts down for Underdog. Maybe we'll switch back to DraftKings on Wednesday and get back into the DraftKings Best Ball ones. Don't know, but remember to, so they call him Smith. They call him the Slim Reaper. He's so skinny, right? But maybe we'll be back on Wednesday. The kids are home from school. We'll see. But Draft-a-Palooza, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Make sure you're subscribed. You got that notification bell on so that you could draft alongside me, watch these drafts, hang out. We're talking drafts, but we don't just talk draft. Talk Travis Kelce. We talk, appetizers at Buffalo Wild Wings. Got the Endless Apps deal. Go over there, check that out as well. Stay tuned to the channel here, guys. I'm going to be putting out some rankings specific videos where I just go position by position group, talk a little more in depth about like running back, why this guy's ahead of that, wide receiver, all this. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Free subscription to the channel, notification bell. And if you're DFS players, of course, we want you to check out DFS Army, promo code Geek. Gets you 10% off your subscription to DFS Army. We got DFS going all summer long. Guys, good stuff, good drafts. I'll see you all next time. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. Deuces, everyone.